Find the derivative of g of x equals sine 2x, A, by using the chain rule, B, by expanding the expression and differentiating the result. For part A, g of x here is made up of a trig function, sine, of an entire expression 2x. Since what's inside the sine is not just an x, but an entire expression, we will have to make use of the chain rule for the derivative. The derivative, g prime of x, will be done by taking the derivative of the outermost function, that is the trig function, the derivative of sine, which is cosine. Leave the inside alone exactly as we see it, but because the inside is an entire expression and not just an x, we have to multiply by the derivative of the inside. The derivative of 2x will be a 2, and you multiply that with the result. That 2 is not inside of the cosine function, so do not multiply that 2 with that 2x. Those do not go together. The 2 multiplies the entire expression. It can move to the front. And we have 2 cosine 2x for our derivative. Now for part B, we want to first expand the expression. Well, sine of 2x has an identity, and it's equal to 2 sine x cosine x. Now what's inside the trig functions are not entire expressions, they're just an x. And the derivative of x is a 1. So the derivative of the inside will be a 1, and therefore the chain rule isn't required because it will just give you a 1, and you don't have to actually utilize it. The derivative, g prime of x, will be found by using the product rule here. Notice we have a product of two functions, sine x times cosine x. So the product rule is the derivative of the first, which is a sine x times a 2. Derivative of sine x will be cosine x times the second left alone plus 2 the first left alone sine x, and then the derivative of the second, the derivative of cosine, which is negative sine of x. Cosine times cosine can be called cosine squared, so we have 2 cosine squared of x. Sine x times a negative sine x will be a negative sine squared x, and the negative can move to the front with the 2, so negative 2 sine squared x. That 2 can be factored out, so we have 2 times cosine squared x minus sine squared x. That is a subtraction between them, not an addition, so we do not have the Pythagorean trig identity that does not equal to a 1. They have to be added to each other, or at least be of the same sign. Both negative would also have the identity. But one of them positive, one of them negative. It doesn't equal to 1. What it does equal is another identity. It turns out that cosine squared of x minus sine squared of x equals exactly cosine of 2x, and we can replace it with that. So we have 2 times cosine of 2x. That's the double angle formula for cosine in reverse, sending it back to cosine of 2x. If we look, the derivative in part B, g prime of x, is 2 cosine 2x, just like we had in part A.